Fourth year for Pete Carroll, fourth year of Chalk Talk, and always fun to begin the season with a win. I think you're going to see a very common theme this year. It struck me really a week ago in chatting with Pat Fitzgerald, the head coach at Northwestern, and he coined it a way that I hadn't necessarily thought of before, and it's simple, and I really like it, and it is a football adage. I think you're going to find this theme throughout Chalk Talk this year. Players, formations, and plays. Players, formations, plays. I think the creed of a lot of schools, I think a very good brand. You're going to find it especially at a school like Northwestern that just can't line up and blow people off the ball. And I think you find this an awful lot in the NFL where the parity, where the talent is so very similar. Well, we better put our players in the very best position. This play may not stand out. If you look at a highlight reel in the game with the Seahawks and the Carolina Panthers, there's some touchdowns and turnovers and some big plays and some nice runs on this final drive. But this one really resonated with me in this way. Players, formations, plays. It was a 2nd and 8 with less than 4 minutes to go. The Seahawks get the ball back. They begin what every team works on, their 4-minute drill. Even though there's a little over 5.5 minutes left. This happens under 4 minutes to go. They had gotten 1 first down. This is 2nd and 8 in their own territory, trying to run out that game. Players, let's start right here. I tell you Golden Tate, and I think every Seahawks fan is going to say, as a player, what does he do best? What does Golden Tate do best? I think a fan, I think a coach, I think his own teammates know that when he gets the ball in the open field, there is not another skill guy, until maybe Percy Harvin gets healthy, a wide receiver, tight end, that breaks more tackles and makes more plays in space than Golden Tate. And instead of lining up in a situation and throwing him a little quick screen or a little hitch or try to get him a slant, get him into space, well, the Seahawks and Darrell Bevell do an excellent thing. They start out in a 3-by-1, 1, 2, 3 receivers, 1 tight end set, and they're going to motion Golden Tate back into the backfield. Okay, so immediately they're giving that defense of Carolina a very different look. And in fact, you don't see anybody, maybe because they're a little worn out and it's late in the game, you don't see anybody with Carolina even react when Golden Tate comes into the backfield. Why do they do this? Because they want to put the player in the best position for success. How do you do that? Well, most oftentimes through matchups, you do it by formation. How can I get my player and his skill set into the best situation to attack a defense, to attack part of their personnel, to attack their scheme? Well, you can oftentimes do it through formation. I thought here a very good wrinkle that they had not shown throughout the game of starting Golden Tate out and bringing him back into the backfield. And then lastly, plays. If you go through your Rolodex, you have seen this play run by the Seahawks dozens of times in critical moments. It's Michael Robinson's touchdown in the playoff game against the Redskins out in the flat. It's a very simple concept that every team runs. They're going to block down with their line. Everybody on that line blocks down. You've got Marshawn on his outside run in a pretty good fake by Russell, and he's going to block that edge defender, whoever it ends up being, and this time it ends up being the Will linebacker. They catch him as the Will sink and run. 2nd and 8, less than 4 minutes to go. What's the tendency for most teams? Why has Carolina got base on the field? Because 2nd and 8, 2nd and long in that situation tells you run. Well, they come down, they motion Golden Tate into the backfield, they get to formation, and they've run this play, as I said, dozens and dozens of times. Clear route by Doug Baldwin, just a little over. Zach Miller comes on a shallow cross. It's a very simple read of a flat 1, of Zach Miller 2, and quarterback scramble 3. But more often than not, this flat route is hit. It's Michael Robinson earlier in the game. It was their new fullback that catches the ball and runs as well. And just being able to, number 1, get your player into the best spot possible. Number 2, utilize the formation they hadn't seen that attacks them. And then number 3, run a play that he's comfortable with, that line's comfortable with, at the most critical of time that you have repped dozens and dozens and dozens of time. With Derek Coleman earlier in the game, in fact, you ran it and got a couple completions. And then watch the real highlight here. Watch how good Golden Tate is coming up and acting like he's going to block before he gets out in the flat. And then what does Golden Tate do? Well, he breaks 3 tackles and does exactly what you want your player to do best, what he does best, make a play in the open field.